From the nation's capital, Monrovia, good evening, a pleasant welcome to the news. Today, I'm Zach Sherman. The headline. President George Weah submits 32 bills to the House of Representatives for passage. Orders now set for the conduct of the Montserrat District by-election rerun at 20 polling places. Agreed Totman University students protest over week-long closure of the institution gave 4 days ultimatum to act or face uninterrupted civil disobedience. Those plus more package for you on this presentation. Keep watching. Welcome back. This is News Today. President George Weah has forwarded 32 instruments to the legislature for legislative action. Some of the bills sent by the president include an act to establish a civil service commission, the whistleblower and witness protection bill, and an act prohibiting the detaining of public officials within the executive branch of government, among others. The Liberian leader called on the lawmakers to act on the communications in the interest of the country. Deputy Chief Clerk of the House of Representatives is Sofa Ghibli, whose reading was followed by House Speaker Dr. Buffer Chambers, who challenged the various committees to swiftly act in passing the bills.
Let me remind you that our country may lose the amount of $40 million US budgetary support in the current draft national budget for fiscal year 2019-2020 from the World Bank if we relent on passing instruments such as the Trade Facilitation Agreement, LEC Power Theft Act, the Customs Code Amendment, etc. Honorable Speaker, we have a commitment to our people, and they count on us to deliver to them. Therefore, we cannot afford to let them down. In the spirit of cooperation and coordination, I call on you to prioritize the enactment and all ratification of the attached list of bills which are germane to our developmental agenda. Sincerely, George M. Weah Sr., President, Republic of Liberia, with the 32 attached bills. Listening.
It will be advisable that we act expeditiously and judiciously to ensure that these things are being properly processed and then passed through with the action of our body.
My inquiry is that should we pass the bill because it has a monetary trigger, or should we pass it because it's a good for Liberian people? Because the way it's written suggests that even if we have critical issues, we must pass it. That's my concern.
Thank you very much. Contextually, it means that we should do it in the interest of the people.
The National Elections Commission says orders set for the conduct of the Montserrat County District 15 by-election rerun. The rerun will take place at 20 guaranteed of the 94 polling places in the area. It comes days following CDC candidate Abu Kamara withdrawal of a notice of appeal to the Supreme Court by and through his legal team. Speaking to this station Tuesday, NEC Communications Director Henry Flomo said the Commission has instituted the necessary mechanisms to avoid the recurrence of the past. Meanwhile, the NEC official spokesperson informed KMTV News the Commission has qualified 7 candidates for the upcoming Grand Cape-bound senatorial by-election slated for October 5.
Yes, tomorrow, beginning at 8 in the morning, will be the rerun of the by-election in district number 15, Montserrat County, and the rerun will be restricted to 6 precincts, and those 6 precincts got 20 polling centers. So again, the election begins in the morning at 8 and it will end at 6 in the evening. So the National Elections Commission is calling on voters in that area, the 20 polling centers in District 15, to turn out and vote for the person they want to replace the late Adolph Lawrence. The Grand Cape More County by-election, this is meant to replace the late Edward Agoset, who was the senator for Cape More. We have a preliminary listing of 7 persons who are trying to replace one person. If you don't mind, I could just call the names. We have Matthew Dablo. He comes from the Vision for Liberia Transformation vote. Kula Fofana is coming from the Coalition for Liberia's Progress, CLP. And then you have Dauda Mensker. He's an independent. Then you have Samuel Taylor, will be representing the Alternative National Congress, ANC. You have Biba Vapela, will be representing the Unity Party, UP. Victor Waxing will be representing the People's Unification Party, that's PUP. And then Sando Wing will be representing the United People's Party, UPP. So this is a preliminary listing for the conduct of the by-election in Grand Cape Mount, and the election is set for the 5th of October this year. Well, we are prepared. We still have materials. Yes, we have materials. We have the ballot papers. We have the record of counts. Of course, our ESs are ready. Our NEC officials are ready.
House Committee on Public Accounts and Expenditure has formally presented the General Auditing Commission report to the plenary of the House of Representatives for endorsement. According to the chair of the Public Accounts and Expenditure Committee, Representative Edward Kafia, the GAC report highlighted fraud, failure to produce supporting documentation of financial expenditure by government institutions, among others. He spoke to reporters on Capitol Hill today.
To get a snapshot, we got 7 audit reports. So all the period we've been looking at those ones that have been there for long, so as to clear them out so that we'll be moving in the future. So specifically, we're looking at the Ministry of Culture and Tourism, that's MICA, for the fiscal year 2006, 2008, up to 2009, September. Then the Ministry of Post and Telecommunication for the fiscal year 2009 to 2011. Then the Liberian National Lottery, vetting the liabilities of LNLC for the period March 31st, 2011. Then we look at the National Social Security and Welfare Corporation financial statement for the period ended 30th June 2014, 2015, and 2016. And then the 2005, 2006, and 2006, 2007 financial statement. Considering the letter we wrote, we said there were flaws in the reports representing anomalies which categorized in financial irregularities, internal control issues, and that require administrative action, thus ranging from payment without adequate supporting document, non-retirement of travel expenses, payment to third party, payroll irregularities, non-disclosure of bank accounts and reconciliation, failure to disclose internally generated revenue, and payment without adequate supporting documentation. The scrutiny was strictly guided by the PFM law, the PPCC law, the budget law, and other best practices as the committee has applied over time. The government is in a drive of fighting corruption. You can see the Solicitor General and other people going after corruption cases. I have documents in my possession which they have been seeking our cooperation in terms of working with them and the GAC for us to speedily look at audit reports and make sure that our recommendations go to the executive.
If you're just coming out with this, is a reminder that you are watching news today on KMTV 1 Howard News presentation that brings you unfolding in Liberia and the rest of our one global village. Still to come. Aggrieved Totman University students protest over week-long closure of the institution. Gave 4 days ultimatum to act or face uninterrupted civil disobedience. Keep watching as we bring you more development after this break. This is News Today with me, Zach Sherman. Aggrieved students of the government-run Totman University have raised concern over the alleged closure of the institution. Totman University is the government of Liberia's second-owned and operated tertiary institution situated in Harper City, Maryland, southeast of the country. The protesting students said the administration was coerced to shut down the operations of the institution because of the refusal of teachers' staffs to go to class due to alleged salary cut through the government of Liberia's salary harmonization scheme, among others. The head of the students' joint high called for the swift intervention of the national government for the reopening of the university in 4 days or face massive uninterrupted disobedience.
On the 20th of August 2019, a group under the banner concerned employees of Totman University, inclusive of professors, lecturers, office staff, and our efficient and effective cleaners who are even unpaid, met and resolved with a position statement outlining the below demands. Salary payment, that their salaries for the month of July be paid immediately and uncut, that their salaries for the month of August be paid on time and uncut, that any plan of proposed cost of salaries for employment of TU be abandoned with immediate effect, restitution of previous deduction, that the 3.5%, 5%, 7.5%, and 10% cut be reimbursed with immediate effect. In keeping with the above, they have thereby stayed away from work and are on an indefinite strike action which began Tuesday, August 20, 2019, until all their demands are fully met by the government of Liberia. The government of Liberia has verbally displayed gross incompetency and irresponsibility. Additionally, this action is a grave violation and or abuse of our constitutional rights as citizens of this republic. We are giving the government of Liberia a provision of 96 hours beginning today, August 27, 2019, to act accordingly. Failure to this ultimatum will have no alternative but to massively assemble and move in an uninterrupted path of disobedience.
While receiving the petition, House of Representatives Chair on Claims and Petitions, Representative Rostalyn Swakoko-Dennis promised to work with her colleagues, specifically the Budget Committee, to augment the envelope of Totman University.
The issue about the University of Liberia, 16 million, and TU 4 million, is something that is laughable. They're both figures. It cannot run a standard university. So I think it's one of the cases that I will work along with the relevant committee that will be able to see, since it is the budget time, how well can we do something about education in Liberia. because our recent statistics shows that the young people above 60% in Liberia. And if we have a youthful population, what do we need to give the youthful population? All we need as young people is just education. Young people might be seen to be violent, might be seen to be reckless, but I believe that if we know the minds of young people, definitely we are going to have a speedy growth. However, I will communicate your press statement to the House, and then by Thursday, I can assure you, you will have it on the floor.
Well, a report coming from the upper house said the Liberian Senate has ordered the Ministry of Finance to halt the salary harmonization process and restitute fundings to those already affected by the process at the moment. And the National Council of Chiefs and Elders of Liberia has commenced a week-long peace and reconciliation conference in Monrovia. The conference geared towards hearing from the stakeholders and finding solution to the growing wave of political tension in recent times. Speaking at the opening ceremony Monday, Internal Affairs Minister Vanessa Salif says the preservation of peace needs the collective efforts of all. Minister Salif, who officially opened the Peace and Reconciliation Conference on Monday, also challenged Liberians, including the private sector, to get involved with agricultural activities as a way of helping government in achieving the proper agenda. Let's now bring you Minister Salif speaking at the occasion.
We are here for one reason. That reason is how can we keep peace and reconciliation within our republic. And that reason that brought us together under the leadership of the Council of Chiefs and Elders supported by the government of Liberia, the government of the Republic of Liberia, through the Minister of Internal Affairs. I want to say to you, our fathers, our mothers, this republic is the only country we have. If it is the only country we have to keep it safe. Safe for all of us and our children that will come after us. We have come for you to help the government and your own country with solution as to how we keep our country peaceful. This is what I'm preaching to our people. Let's make farm. When we make farm, we take the money, we build where when the women there can make far places. They can walk to come to labor. Somewhere we build, they can stay there. When they get in labor, they are not far from the village. Then they go there. When we build, we tell them what the government will give some more people to work. They don't do that. If we do that, we will reduce poverty also where we live, no district where we come from, because we sell, more rest will be there. Election time now, nobody will not depend on people with better rest. We will say we're not voting for you because you're not good. But when better rest between us and the people, then we can take it better. So I'm appealing to you, our people, you're not big farm, you're not grow. When we grow more food, we can sell some, we can eat some.
Well, speaking at the opening ceremony on Monday, Chief Zanzan Kowal said the gathering was prompted by recent electoral violence, continuous protest, and a wave of insults on officials of government, among others. Chief Kowal said the one-week roundtable will attempt to restore peace through the mitigation process.
We will now wait until we bring peace here before. And you say you will not wait and they're going to beat you before you move there? Yeah. And you say when you're called and they don't come, you will move to the office to bring them. And now you say? Yeah. And you say, hey, when you're in the country, when the country shaking, you're not talking about. And now you say, I'm calling? Yeah. So we're telling you, the council of chiefs here for last 4 years, but chiefs sometimes come. We take all to talk through. They from open. They are meeting here in Nambagan to be back. They're meeting here a meeting for us to do things for the country to be in peace. Yeah. Because the minister can say, that we will go back to our village to make fun. Without fun, the congregation go nowhere. Yes. The money went from here go different countries for food is millions of dollars. Yes. A go? No. A go? No. So we want to go back in the bush. For all to go back in the bush, they say what we did now, they say they can be calm. They say they can be calm. When you hear the message, you not come. When we live on here, we go back to our era. And you're talking now, then you're talking something we're not supposed to talk. On behalf of the council, political parties, people who are not sorry for us, Muslim council can't go judge they will all. They will say with us here. So you can can't tell us. Can't tell us where in your heart. Can't tell us where bring you. Can't tell us the problems for the country. Yes. We ready? Ain't nobody beats more in the father. The father here is a father to talk. A father here is a father to make peace. A father here is a father when you want to happy, and when they correct, the father will make you happy.
Chief Zanza Kawal is the chairman of the National Council of Chiefs and Elders, bringing us to the close of this presentation of news today. But before we go home, here once again the headline. President George Weah submits 32 bills to the House of Representatives for passage. All is now set for the conduct of the Montserrat District by-election rerun at 20 polling places. Agreed Tottenham University students' protest over the week-long closure of the institution gave 4 days ultimatum to act or face uninterrupted civil disobedience. Thanks for your viewing pleasure. I am Zach Sheman. Good evening.